Welcome to 1407 Great Malkin Lane. This is the living memory of the X-Men. Stop breaking into my house, okay? Stop stealing my books. They're not insured yet, okay? Today, I bring in a very special lady. I just started Twitter like a month ago, and I just met all these interesting people, and I reached out to you, and like you have some really funny tweets. I just but I want to introduce you, Anne. Welcome to Chopping It Up with me. So,
Yeah,
how are you doing
thank you
today?
so much for having me. I'm great. I'm very excited to be here. It's awesome that you reached out. Always happy to do stuff like this. So it's awesome. I just love talking comics, which is why I started the account on Twitter to begin with. So I'm living the dream. So
Right. Yeah, like let's do like
yeah.
okay. Like I said, I joined Twitter like a month ago, and
Mhm.
people are divisive. Like, if you don't like their
Yeah.
character, they were like, "I will kill you and your family." What?
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
just you misspell something. Like, I take that as a personal attack.
It's if you like the wrong characters, you're under attack. If you like the if you don't like the right characters, you're under attack. It's a special place. I've tried my best to carve out a pretty decent and like wholesome community there. And I think I've done a pretty good job, but it's definitely a battle sometimes. It's
Oh,
people are really passionate about comics, which is great to see on most occasions, but sometimes it can be a bit intimidating.
right. Like, all right. A lot of people think that I'm a Charles Xavier apologist. No, I just believe that everybody deserves a good defense. Like,
Mhm.
he's really hard to defend, but a lot of the stuff that people don't like him for, that's like it's like like the whole like, oh, he wanted to have sex with his sister. Well, okay, he said he loved her. He said he loved her. He didn't say there was no sex. It was a everybody deserves a good defense. It
Mine usually just goes to this was written in the 60s or this is I'm not holding like I keep going back to like whenever someone wants to hold like Wanda accountable for like the house like the
yeah.
not House of X House of M stuff. I'm like that's Bendis. I'm not blaming that on Wanda.
And also, but I also look at it like looking at it now, Wanda is in the same position. If you're gonna call out Wanda for what she did for House of M,
Mhm.
you gotta call out Storm for what she did with the Morlocks. She blatantly ignored them most of the time,
Mhm.
and she still claims to be leader. It's like
Well,
I love these characters.
yeah, I love these characters too. If your favorite character hasn't done at least one dodgy thing in their past, do they even really have a history?
Yeah, that's why Sync. I love Sync, but he hasn't done anything yet. He hasn't made any.
he needs to he needs to mess up at least once.
Right. I mean, hey, we all got dirt. Like, yeah, like Magneto can kill a bunch of people. Yeah, he's fine.
He's fine now. It's yeah,
Like,
he killed a bunch of people and he looked good doing it. So what
yeah,
do you want me to do about
hey,
it?
that man has the best conditioner in the game. Like, just he like it's like everything.
I
Like, he just like moves in slow motion. His hair just it takes a couple seconds for his hair to catch up. Like,
mhm. As
like,
someone who has to wear a hard hat at work, I really appreciate anyone who can pull off their hair, pull off a helmet and not get hat hair. It's just incredible.
yeah. Oh yeah, I love it. Okay, so
Mhm.
and you are
Absolutely.
like how long what's your background? Like
It's
how long you been with the team?
um so my relationship with comics has kind of been on and off for forever. I got my first love was Spider-Man. I loved Spider-Man when I was a kid. I got really into that. I have this Spider-Man visual dictionary, which is actually still over by my bookshelf right now. I've held on to it after so many years.
Nice.
And I read that thing to pieces. All the pages have fallen out of it. That was like my first introduction to comics. It was harder for me to get into the actual medium because I kept reading older comics books from like the 80s and the
Yeah.
70s,
Yeah.
and they just didn't click with me. It just felt like a weird storytelling style. So it took me a while to find a comic that I eventually clicked with. I got into following like monthlies in about 2013. So I've been here for about 8, 9 years,
Oh
which is
wow.
cool. I tried a lot to get there. I tried Spider-Man, I tried Superman, I tried Batman. It was eventually Aquaman that got me into comics, which is the funniest thing. But you know what works. And it's funny because one of the things I was trying on my path to get into comics was the X-Men. Because back in the early 2000s, the Spider-Man movies were hot and the X-Men movies were just as hot.
Yep.
So I remember very distinctly watching the X-Men movies, watching X-Men Evolution.
It was a good show. Great show.
Such a good show.
It really, I remember the first episode it came out. Like, as soon as I saw, like, I want more. Like, those episodes were so short to me. Like, for Saturday morning, like, and I would watch them again because I would tape them. And I would just watch them again and, like, trying to see something like Nightcrawler's so cool. Like, just the intro when we see Kurt, like, just dancing on it. And his tails and Cycle just pulls it.
Yep, I love that so much. I got so lucky because I came in a little after the show had premiered, so I was able to pull DVDs from the library, and I just binged through them one after the other. I'm like, this is fantastic. And I tried to get into X-Men the same way I got into Spider-Man. I got their visual dictionary from the library, but the difference between them and Spider-Man is even in the dictionary, I was reading so much and understanding so very little.
Right.
I tried so hard to get into the X-Men, but it didn't click with me for the longest time because it's just, they have such a thick and rich mythology.
Oh yeah,
which is partially something I like. I really like when things get crazy and soap opera in comics because I think that's half the fun of it. Is like everyone, just so much random stuff happens. It's bonkers, and I love it for being bonkers.
Seriously.
But it is intimidating getting into it for the first time. When I eventually did try pulling comics, the newest ones at the time were post-Decimation.
Oh, okay.
So even worse for me. It's like I came into this period where it's like I picked up these books for all these characters I saw on the show, but all the characters I saw on the show were either depowered or scattered to the four winds.
Oh,
and trying to read an X-Men comic from that era is so hard because you pull it out open and you're like, I know the X-Men from the movies, but I don't recognize any of these characters on the page. I need someone to list names next to pictures of every face so I can stop Googling who is green guy with X on chest.
Wow. Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. I mean, and that's how it is. Like, you got into like a really like transitional time because like after Morrison, Morrison was on it. There was like 4 different avenues. I remember like around the time X-Men Evolution came out, there was Uncanny X-Men, New X-Men, Extreme X-Men, Ultimate X-Men, like, and no spinoffs. But it was a crazy time. Like, and I say the 2000s were the time where they were just gloom and doom. Everybody.
It's like that was like line wide. I feel like comics from especially like mid 2000s to late 2000s Marvel, there was just something in the water. It's just the art style was so bleak and dark, the stories were bleak and dark. It was very hard for me to get into. And there were like stories that I felt like I couldn't open in public. They were either super gory or super sexualized. I'm like, I don't want anyone to see that I'm reading these.
You're reading
I'm gonna get in trouble for reading these. Right. And I'm just like, I don't know if I can do this. But eventually I caught, like right before AVX happened, I did catch some good stories. Some of my favorite X-Men stories are from there, like the Utopia era.
Yeah, that was that was cool.
I don't think it's a coincidence my favorite X-Men stories come from the periods where they're on their happy little utopian island.
Yeah, hey, they were fine. Like,
they were fine.
Hey, I personally love that era because I'm from that area. I'm from the Bay Area. So like, putting them in like San Francisco, I was like, you could put them on the other side of the bay. Put them in Oakland. Like, they don't need San Francisco. They don't need San Francisco. Like, but it was fun. It like the X-Men are fun. Like, there's and everybody, apparently the entire Twitter community thinks that everybody is sleeping with everybody else. I want to see it on page.
I want to see it on page. Show it to me. Now is when we can have the acceptable sex scenes. Show them all to me. There's orgies happening 24/7 somewhere on Krakoa, and it's making Krakoa uncomfortable, but the island's too kind to say anything. So
Oh, no. Solemn's fine. Oh, Solemn's fine. Like Solem and Coco are fine. I love that character so really, because like, you know, if Solem was to come to your house, you're like, what are you doing here? 2 weeks later, you're giving him grapes and like wondering what, like, how did this happen? Like,
just moved in. Okay, cool. I'm okay with this.
Like, and yeah, you would call. You feed him grapes and you're calling him daddy. You're like, what the hell? How did
Beware the pipeline.
like I was a straight man before meeting you. But hey,
Yeah.
Hey, when you got it, you got it.
Mm-hmm.
But so you said you got into like the earth, like when there was doom and gloom, and you got with Utopia.
That was
like. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say that's the period where I started checking out the comics for the first time, and I would keep coming back to them because I'm like, I want to understand what's going on. I want to like these comics because the characters were so interesting to me, and I'm like, there's something clicks here. Something needs to work, and I want that. I need that to fit. And a couple stories did eventually, like X-Men Schism remains one of my favorite stories to this day. I love the little riff that Scott and Logan had just philosophically with each other about how they're going to approach training the next generation. Like, are we training soldiers or are we raising children? You know?
Yeah.
And that was, yeah.
I always thought.
Go ahead.
I always thought Schism was kind of weird because the entire like argument started because Wolverine thought that Oye was Kitty Pryde. He thought he could treat all the kids the same. Like you remember that one scene where Wolverine's going to teach the kids class and he's talking to Oye, the girl who thought she was a demon because she was a mutant.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, you should be playing with dolls. He's like, dolls aren't going to protect you, going to protect us from sentinels. And he's like, no, you can't cheat these. Like, you did that with Kitty Pryde. You taught her to be a soldier when she was 13. How is it okay when Scott does it? But no, how's it not okay when Scott does it, but it's totally okay when you do it? Hypocrite.
because it was Scott. We have to spite Scott.
I've been reading the books since I was a kid, like from the first cartoon, like, and I always thought it was funny that after Scott got with Emma, there seemed to be this kind of like it's like this tension between Scott and the rest of the X-Men. It just seemed like a lot of the X-Men led by Storm were Team Jean. They're like, you shouldn't have gotten with Emma, okay? You cheated on her and you got with her. It was a whole thing.
It was the whole thing. Oh, it's crazy because like I think back to those when I was reading those comics, and I was definitely reading the comics for like Wolverine and Cyclops because those were the guys in the movie. So I'm like reading it because like, oh, I want to know about these movie guys. But the cool thing about the X-Men is the further and further you get into it, you find all the smaller characters and side characters that you don't know about that you start clinging to.
Oh, yeah.
Like my favorite X-Men now is probably Emma Frost, and it changes by the day because the more you learn about these characters, the more different ones will hit and resound with you, and it's crazy because you can never like anticipate who's going to click with you. Like I'm trying to think. I didn't think a character like Armor, because I read Armor. She showed up around that decimation period, and I thought she was really cool. But eventually, she started just clicking more and more with me until she became like a top 10 favorite. And I liked it's also like I like characters like Rogue in the comics, but Rogue is a train wreck, unfortunately, in the movies, and I didn't expect to like her in the comics. You read her in the comics, and you're like, what the hell is what happened in the movie? I just can't. There's so many.
Like Rogue is amazing. Like her character development has been beautiful. It has been so like, especially after this week's issue, like with like I want to see Rogue meet Mystique and Destiny. I want them to have a real conversation because there's so much there. There's so much to unpack.
Just a little bit. Just that whole family situation is just, I need you to sit down. I want just a whole comic of just them talking.
Right.
I think that would be all I would need that entire week.
And not just them, like Scott and
Mhm.
Jean need to have one. Like I would really like it if Kitty and Ileana were to have a conversation about their entire, say, hey, are we a couple or are we not?
Mhm.
Are we
Yeah.
are we together or are we like Jane Silent Bob? You're my maternal life mate. No, my platonic life mate.
There we go. I wasn't gonna say anything. I'm just gonna
Right. These
let
words
it
get
go.
weird. So how do you feel about, like, all right, so you've been in it 8 years. What were your highs? What were your lows? What were you like,
Um,
I can't believe they went there?
I think my highs were probably the moments where it's like my interest in the X-Men spiked because I could feel, like I said, it was very thick. It was very hard to get into. The moments where I felt like I could actually like penetrate the material and find things that resonate with me that I could understand, those were the highs for me. That was X-Men Schism. And even though it's not a great story, it was always a fun one to me. I liked Avengers versus X-Men because at least I could follow it. I understood what was happening. It was a good gateway for me at the time.
Right.
And the all new and uncanny stuff that came right after that, that was a very solid period for me. Probably one of the last like Bendis runs that I really liked as I was reading it. Going back, might not age as well as I remember, but I liked it at the time.
Yeah, I'm with you. That uncanny X-Men run where Cyclops was just like, he's like, listen, I am
Mhm.
not the bad guy. Like, and everybody was calling him the bad. Like, I just
Mhm.
like what's like uh, certain tropes about the X-Men I always notice. Anytime one of them goes bad, the rest of the X-Men just turn on them instantly.
Mhm.
Like in Avengers versus X-Men, when Scott with Dark Phoenix, like, we all know what Xavier did.
Yeah. Mhm.
First person to come up to him was Iceman, punch him in the face, saying, "Damn you, Summers." I'm like, wow, that is your friend. He saved your life so many times, and now it's just fuck you. Like, they're they're very cliquish.
Mhm.
They're fickle. I mean, they're really fickle. They change their. But so Bendis,
Um,
Schism. How do you feel about Krakoa?
Krakoa is like the golden era for me because that was when it clicked. That was like when it truly clicked, and I'm like, I feel like an X-Men fan now because I feel like no longer am I weighed down by trying to keep track of like where everyone is right now. It did what I've been begging them to do for so long, where it actually lists what mutants are in the issue at the beginning, so I don't have to do so many Google searches anymore. And I finally get to learn who characters are. It did this great thing, resetting all the different titles, all the different lines, bringing different characters to the forefront, really making them shine. And this is the first time I feel like I've been able to get to know the mutants because I'm not afraid of getting too attached to one and having them axed off 2 issues later.
Right.
It's great to feel like I can live here and be comfortable here without it all going away like that,
Right.
which is really special to me.
Is there like a favorite book during the Krakoa era that you really liked, or
Um, my favorite books during the Krakoa era, Hellions was awesome.
Hellion was
I
just
loved
funny.
I loved the first half of Marauders. I like it. I liked Excalibur a lot. I feel like everything was really strong that first year, and then after X of Swords, things kind of like just went into like we're gonna cruise for a little while, and all the titles just like they felt like eh. But I honestly, there hasn't been a title I didn't at least enjoy. At the bottom of my list is probably like X Force and like the solo Wolverine book. I just for some reason the Percy stuff hasn't been clicking with me. I'm not really sure why.
Listen, yeah, you're not alone. It means you have good taste, because this guy, like, he's just throwing anything at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Mhm.
Just the whole thing with the Russia thing, and then the Kid Omega, the Cuckoos thing. That was actually
Mhm.
that was kind of sad. Like the moment he
Yeah.
gets like, I'm gonna be a better person. I'm gonna break up with you.
Oh.
Because
It's
of her sisters.
mhm.
Oh man.
It's
And
following that's it's like how many ways can Beast slowly and slowly become a more terrible person? Which is okay. I get that. It's just not the story for me. Where it's like I want to see different X-Men doing fun things. I'm not here to see the X-Men CIA do war crimes. I could I'm gonna take a break from that. I'm gonna go see what the magic ones are doing in Magic Land.
Yeah, that whole debate, that 6-month debate between them and the Shadow King was just okay. I get it, but okay.
Mhm.
It just yeah. I think in addition, like I thought things really got started picking up, especially for Excalibur for me after the gala. Like
Okay. Mhm.
the gala was really like you saw Nightcrawler just trashed, like just trash.
Mhm.
I'm surprised nobody the next morning like Kurt, you were being a little inappropriate last night. What are you doing? Yeah, it was with the tree. Krakoa didn't appreciate that.
I Kurt, I just I still love the scene where it's like, what rules are we gonna make? And Kurt's like, let's do the one about sex. Let's do the sex rule, because that's all me.
Yeah. Yeah, but he does. I still say that he needs to get with he really needs to talk to Wanda. Like, let's get that daughter situated. Because are you familiar with Nocturne?
Vaguely.
Yeah, the daughter of Scarlet Witch and Nightcrawler from an alternate reality. I always thought she would be so cool to bring like
Mhm.
think of
Wasn't
like
she from Exiles?
yeah.
Okay, yes. I do remember her now.
Yeah, like I would really like to. Can you imagine Thanksgiving dinner? Like Mystique, Destiny, Rogue, Gambit, Magneto, Scarlet Witch, uh, Polaris, Quicksilver, and
Mhm.
like mom's other boyfriend, Vision. Can you imagine how awkward and how hilarious, like, especially if
I
Destiny's gonna be like making those little jabs.
mhm. That is I would love to go to that and just watch. It's like, would you like a plate of food? No, I'm here to see what happens.
Like I like, hey, name somebody here who hasn't slept with Mystique. Even Magneto, like it was the 70s. I didn't know. It's
Oh,
oh, it's like so how do you see the X-Men like now in the current like just how do you see them how do you feel about
um, I I feel pretty solid about where they are. I like that they've kind of I appreciate the message of a group who's like, we've kind of had it up to here. We've tried literally everything. You keep making the damn killbots. So we're gonna go chill on the island of forever life. And you all figure out your own stuff. We'll help, but we're tired of trying to put up with it. That really speaks to me, because there's definitely been days where I'm like, I would love to just start my own island nation away from everything and just exist there without the BS, you know?
yeah. Oh, and like the rest, and it is really funny how we see the rest of the Marvel universe, like they're like that's not right. You shouldn't have that. Like, are you
Mhm,
serious? Like, we're like, hey, Avengers, where were you when Genosha was destroyed?
mhm.
Yeah, no, no. Fantastic Four, where were you when all of our children were killed? No, 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 no. You have nothing to say.
It's great because there's always been this part of the X-Men where it's like that, sure, they're in like the superhero community, but what they're fighting for is so different than what everyone else is, because everyone else, they're not being, attacked for their powers. The X-Men are just being singled out all the time and being hunted down. Like, I think only Spider-Man can relate to having a scientist make genetic kill machines that are specifically meant to come and end your life.
Right.
That's because that's just insane. And to imagine having to put up with that, I'm surprised something like this didn't happen to this extent sooner. And I love seeing heroes put their powers to work in building society, because that's like, you can use your powers for all sorts of cool things when you're fighting someone, but seeing like the five come together to actually make resurrection, like legitimate resurrection, a thing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, okay. How do you feel about the council? Like, just all of them. Just break it down. I'll break it down like a fraction. I want to hear your thoughts.
The council is the embodiment of just like how a good idea can still have so much bureaucracy and just nonsense behind it, because it's like, even though everyone still has one collective vision, you're still going to have people who feel like they need to approach it different ways, and there's going to be others who are willing to go to different lengths to achieve that and to go over each other. And just the fact that it's composed of heroes and villains who have always had this beef with each other, and trying to see them work anything out is always a pleasure. Seeing Charles Xavier trying to have a civil conversation with Mystique, Mr. Sinister, Rogue, Nightcrawler all at the same time, it's an interesting conversation, because that's like something that before would only happen in like fan fiction or something. So it's like, these are people that don't sit down and talk to each other.
Yeah.
So it's always a tense situation, and I appreciate that.
What would you do if you were on the council? Like
Cry.
and you know everything we know as fans, and you're on the council, and you're just like, what would you do? Like, would you try to, like, yeah, what would you do?
That's an interesting question. I honestly don't know what I would do. I would feel so out of my element. I would probably just be like, I would find my favorite person on the council. I just look at like Destiny, Mystique. I'm doing whatever the gays are doing. I'm with them.
But Kate's like, I'm right
I trust
here.
their instinct.
Kate's like, I'm right here. You're still in the closet.
It's like, okay, I gotta figure out what we gotta get all the queers together, and we'll figure out what we're doing. It's like, we can make this work.
I would be so violent. Like, I would want to fight Sinister all the time. Just like,
yeah.
Why you looking at me like that?
Fair enough. If Sinister was living on the same island as me, I would be the lovely nanny panel where she's like, it's Judgment Day, and then that would be me all the time. If I see Sinister, it's on site.
Right. You get these hands. Oh man, just like, I would just jump, like, just jumping over, like, it's like, oh, I don't like it when he's here. He fight too much. Also, I would call out Mystique and Destiny. Like, you two. Okay. Like, also Destiny on site.
see, here's the thing. We're going to be against each other, because I'm going to be defending them. I'm like, I don't care what they did. I want them to be happy. So
right. I get that. No, also, I would kind of get on Nightcrawler. Like, how you still have loyalty to her? She threw you off of a waterfall, bro.
Hey, like, bygones are bygones. I turned out fine.
Because of your dad.
Nightcrawler's like, that was the best thing that ever happened to me, to be honest. It got me out of that situation.
I just kind of felt like she could have easily just put you in an orphanage. Not like, I feel like the waterfall was a little excessive. Like, it's an extreme.
It's extreme, but it makes for a great dinner story.
Yeah, it's just like, and then later on is like, oh, like, I just imagine talking to Nightcrawler, like it's like, oh, she's my mother. Remember the time she shot you, or the time she stabbed you, or that other time she stabbed you, or the other time she said, I never loved you.
That's just family things. Who hasn't been stabbed by a loved one? Who hasn't?
Havoc.
Madeline Pryor sewed his mouth shut, so I feel like that's pretty close.
The Summers, that's a whole, like, just, I understand where Scott's going. Like, when he doesn't want Madeline because that's the ex. Like, oh god, every time, and you just imagine that every time you come across her, she's gonna be like, oh, I see you're with your family. Couldn't even say with my family. Like, oh God, every time.
Oh,
Baby mama drama. I've
mhm.
seen it. I've seen it. I it's scary. It's just because she's right.
Yeah.
You
Mhm.
can't tell her.
Yep.
You can't say Maddie, shut up. He's like, no, no, she
Nope, Maddie's
like,
right.
yeah, she got some points.
She's got
Yeah,
some
she got it.
points.
Yeah, but then you can bring out, hey, Maddie, remember that time you had sex with that variant of your son? Nobody wants to talk about that.
Hold up. I still have gaps in my X-Men knowledge. Explain that one.
Okay, this happened back in the 90s.
Okay, that makes
X-Men,
sense.
yeah, X-Man Nate Gray, he because he was a 17-year-old really powerful telekinetic telepath, he was able to bring Madeline Pryor back from the dead, and they just kind of like latched on, and yeah, it's a whole thing.
I love comics and how they treat women sometimes. That's so cool. I love that.
It,
We're having fun.
oh, but she slept with Shaw though. Like it's like it's it's fun. It's Matt. Okay, Maddie's not wrong. It's just like move on. Get a. It's like
She's like, I'll move on when I want to. When you look this good, you don't have to move on.
it's like
You can throw it in everyone's face.
or it's like or I always thought like, hey, if you're mad at Sky, why don't you take your anger where it's supposed to be, to your dad, Sinister? He's over there. He's laughing at the entire thing. I always thought like, how come she hasn't gone to him? It's like she has nothing to say to Sinister.
Hey, I'm just thinking Sinister's the best one to hate because you can kill him over and over because he's just going to keep cloning himself.
Oh man,
So
I hate him so much.
it's like Sinister, you can live here and we'll let you. You just have to make enough clones for everyone to kill at least once a week.
Just
We need to get our catharsis out.
I just feel like with Sinister, like even if he can save the entire world, and it'd still be like on site. Nah,
Yeah.
like nah. Hold my poodle, Nightcrawler. No, hold my poodle.
What I want the Crucible be next is I just want it to be gladiator fights, but only Mr. Sinister clones.
Oh,
That
wow.
way, no matter who wins, everyone wins because one of them is dead.
Yeah. Oh, it's just with Sinister. Like, I understand why they would bring him onto the council.
Mhm.
Like, okay. Would you trust Mr. Sinister
No,
out there by
No.
himself, unsupervised?
no.
No, you couldn't. You had to bring him in. It's just like it's just like
Keep your enemies closer.
no. I'm just like biding your time, and then
Mhm.
they can just throw him in a pit. Like,
Yep, we're gonna send you to super hell. That's the plan.
no, I don't. I think he would get out of Super Hill. No, just kill him over and over and
Mhm.
over again. Like, just this is why they don't want me on the council. I would blow up his entire spot. Like, oh, I know he's not talking with his illegal clone farms. Oh wait, nobody's supposed to know about that. It's like Emma, you knew. Emma, you want to talk? You want to snitch on Xavier, Moira, and Magneto, but you can't keep. Like, we all know what's in it. Dude, what is the plan? Oh, it's fun. It's
fun.
It's
And
fun.
there's so much to talk. There's so much happening at once, and I think that's one of the cooler things about it.
Yeah, it also Apocalypse. Like, everybody was saying, "Oh,
Mhm.
Apocalypse is this great supervillain. He's one of the ones who played ball from the jump." He's like,
Mhm.
"This is what I'm talking about. This is what."
The moment he shows up and he just says, "You finally become what I've always wanted you to become," that's just like it was like chills. It's like actual chills.
I'm like, and now you look, and now I watch the old cartoons and the movies. I'm like, oh, he's just cranky, right? He just woke up.
He
Like,
just woke up.
it's like,
Give him some
I
time.
get
He'll
it.
settle down.
Yeah, it's like this is one of those times where I feel like Apocalypse needed some real friends. Like, bro, you need a Snickers. You're not the great ruler you are when you don't have a Snickers.
Mhm.
You're cranky. Like, yeah, I admit
Yeah.
I was being kind of a dick back there. Like, thank you. That's all I want. It's fine. It's fine. You're fine.
You're fine. You'll be okay.
Like, hey, we'll get your kids back. We'll get your wife and kids back. We get it. Like, I'm with you, bro. And now I find out he's the greatest family man. Like, it's like, I love my wife. I love my kids. That's all I want to do. Like all that stuff, all those cults, I had nothing to do with that.
It was just all trying to express how much I miss my family.
Right.
Sorry, I tried to take over the world that one time. I was dealing with some unresolved issues. I really miss my wife.
Hey. You saw her, you saw his wife?
Yep.
Yeah.
I would miss her too.
Yeah, I was like, totally understandable.
Yeah.
I get it.
I too would destroy this world for her.
Just like annihilation. Like I'm the nice one. She's crazy. Because she had that helmet on. It was just telling her like you should stab this person.
Yes, helmet, that is a good idea. I shall.
Like, ugh. Like, yeah, all in a day. Oh, but like, how did you feel about like, all right, the current like everything with Inferno? How did you feel about Inferno? Like this is the big stuff. Like,
Say Inferno felt like something that was pretty big, but it's hard for me because I feel like it should have been bigger. Because I know it's like this was originally supposed to be like the finale to the Hickman era.
Yeah.
And it felt like it was okay, you know? It's like it's just Hickman saying goodbye. It doesn't feel like the finale of an era. It just feels like the doorway to the next part of the era, which I'm both happy about and a little sad about because I'm really interested to see what it would have looked like if this was the end. But also, I'm still glad we're in Krakoa. I like Krakoa too much for it to go away, which is exactly what, like the writer's room is right now.
yeah.
And it's hard to blame them because it feels like there's still so much to happen here. Very excited for all the relaunches we're getting starting. Is it starting this month?
The 30th of the last Wednesday of the month we're gonna get Immortal, Marauders, and X-Force. The last X-Force before we start would that be a relaunch or just a continuation?
I feel like it's just a continuation. I feel like X-Force, it's like X-Force and New Mutants. It's just like, we're just going to keep going. And also New Mutants pulling me back in with an Ileana and Madeline Pryor fight. Where I'm like, ooh, the girls are fighting. Coming. Let's go.
We know it's coming. I'm excited for Thunderbird. I want to see Thunderbird. Just like I like with Steve Orlando. I hope we really get inside Thunderbird's head and how does he feel about this whole thing, because we haven't really got inside any specific person's head. Like, how do they feel about all this? Except for Wolverine during Ben Percy, he said something so. I thought it was problematic.
Really?
In the first issue where Beast was like, he was exploring the island, all like, I'm just going on a little nature walk, and he gets attacked by this beast. And, not Beast.
Right.
Wolverine saves him, and Wolverine's like, no, this island, it makes people feel safe, and that makes you soft. What? He gives the worst advice. Don't listen to a drunken troll, because he does not know what he's talking, and he's probably drunk. So drunk. I just said, like, and that with Beast, he's about to go on trial. I'm like, he can blame all this on Wolverine. It's like, I don't listen to him. I listen to my. He's like, I listen to my friend, and also the whole creation of X-Force was a knee-jerk reaction in the first place, because it started because Xavier got killed. It didn't start from a good place. It started from like, we're angry. I don't know. That's just how. I just hope they do more with X-Force, because like it seems like we're seeing the same three people. Add more. They like there's so many mutants on here with Black Ops experience who have no problem killing people. So
So I have some friends who are really into X-Force, and it's a series I need to try again. It was probably one that I followed very loosely at first, and I feel like if I go back and reread it, it might be better as like a binge instead of like month to month.
Right.
Because I know it's trying something very specific, and I want to see if I can catch that message more this next time through.
Right.
So I'm interested. There's still things that make me feel weird about it. Whenever everything that happened with Domino at the beginning,
Yeah.
I'm just if you start off because Domino was one of the reasons I picked up the book. If you're gonna start off a run by capturing and torturing the one character I picked up the book for, whatever purpose it serves, you're not gonna have me on as a fan. That's just not great. But
yeah, absolutely. I love Domino. I like the fact that she is getting a central focus. She's great. It's just she's the one, like she's one of the few, well, no, Sage, okay, either you're torturing them like Domino in the X-Force book, you're torturing women like Domino, or you keep women like Sage on the sidelines, and just seems like it's another Wolverine book. Like, yeah,
which I've heard it goes pretty hand in hand with the Wolverine series, but I stopped reading both a long time ago, so I can't tell you.
You're braver than I am, because I just I feel like an abuse victim. Like, no, he loves me. He doesn't mean to do that. Like, it's rough, and it just seems like Percy is a big Terminator fan. He's a big Terminator fan, and it's just this X Lives. I was really conflicted. Like, it's to me, it's not good. It's like it's a marketing thing, but I had the same issues with Trial of Magneto. So
fair. It's one of those things where it's like I feel like bad things can happen to characters. You know, it's just like I don't start off the book like that. At least I would like to get the status quo before we start breaking down characters, and I feel like it always happens to female characters more often. It's just
like stop, like come on, stop it. Like remember when Colossus he had that girlfriend, and then like in the recent issue he killed her, and that was just like, yeah, why? Because at first I thought she was a plant. I thought she was sent by the Russian government to keep an eye on Colossus. I was like, okay, that's fine, nothing wrong with that. But they just killed her. He was like, you don't need to do that.
There's highs and lows, and those are definitely some of the lows. And I'm like, the X-Men's been in a situation. It's just like the thing I appreciate most about this era is stuff like that does happen. At least it can be undone pretty immediately. I know some people are like, I don't like that death doesn't have consequences anymore. I'm like, it was comics. Death never really had consequences before anyways. It's just we're skipping the like pretending they're dead for 6 months part before we bring them back, which I appreciate. It's kind of like meta in that way where it's like, we're going to bring them back anyway. Why should we wait? Let's just do it instantly. Yes. So at least there's that, and at least whenever those decisions happen, it doesn't have lasting consequences. But I remember even as recently as like, I think it was either 2018 or 2019, we had things like a group of people beating Rain Sinclair to death.
Oh yeah, I remember that. It was just so weird. Like I honestly I cried. I'm like, come on, Rain, not Rain. Like,
yeah, and that was at a time where it's like I wasn't invested in the X-Men comics because everything that happened with the Inhumans and versus X stuff, I checked out long ago. Where it's like whatever's happening over there is too messy for me to deal with. I don't care enough. Yeah. So, but even then, when I wasn't in the space yet, I was still hearing people talk about it, which is like how far it was spreading, and I was just like, this just doesn't sound great. What is going on? I hate when stuff like that happens because the crazy thing about X-Men and the hard thing for a writer probably is to realize that every single one of these characters, no matter how small, is definitely someone's favorite.
Oh, definitely.
Like, there's someone out there running a Boom Boom account because Boom Boom's their favorite X-Men.
Hey, Boom Boom is that one, okay? You need it. You need that crazy. I love that crazy girl, okay?
I love Boom Boom so much.
Wrong.
I love her, and it's like, someone out there. There's someone out there who's like Maggot is the goat,
Hey,
and I'm like,
Megan's great too.
I love Maggot.
Just he has like, come on, like him with just two slugs are kind of like a guy and like somebody with like two little dogs. Like, oh, look at my little dogs.
Oh my gosh. Which reminds me, one of the things I would like to see more, because I appreciate that throughout all the titles, they have very varied teams. There's like very little like crossover in terms of who's in different books.
Yeah.
Other than like Wolverine, not a lot of characters are appearing more than they should.
Yeah.
And I would love to see more solo books for different
Yes.
characters. Like the fact that Storm doesn't have a solo book yet
Storm
screams stupidity to me.
And-
I'm like, I don't know how we have a patch Wolverine book and a Wolverine book and two simultaneous weekly stories going on at the same time with Wolverine, but we got nothing for Storm.
It's the money. Like,
It's the money, but are you telling me Storm's not money?
No, Storm is money.
Mhm.
Her book like a few years ago, I think Greg Pak was doing it. It was amazing. It was like
Was it Marvel Now or was it before that?
it was Marvel Now.
Okay.
Yeah, it was only like 11 issues, but it was so good.
Mhm.
Just like Storm had the mohawk again. She was like, Storm is so interesting by herself. But one thing I wish they would bring back her friendship with Gambit, because they are so fun when they're just stealing stuff.
Everyone's fun when they're just stealing stuff. I would love a Storm series again. I would love I would love an Emma Frost book. I would love
I think.
Oh yes, yep, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, it was fun. I loved it. Yeah.
I need to check that out. Storm's one of those characters who's like, I love her, but I need to know more about her.
There's a lot. Yeah. She's more than just the Black Panther's ex-wife and side piece.
Yeah.
She could do so much better than Black Panther. And I said it.
Oh my gosh. Storm deserves the world. That's where
no. She deserves the galaxy,
which is fair, and she's on her way. She's got Mars now.
Oh,
so
yeah. Hey, you're top tier when you curved Doom. You curved no, that's the only loss she has with Forge. But like she has so many other guys trying to like, hey, what's going on? She's like, bye.
No, thank you.
But she's looking at Wolverine like, It's like I just like Storm is amazing. I feel like we need a Maverick book right now.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, no, just like somebody who's anti-Krakoa.
Okay.
From his perspective, because Wolverine, he's played out now. Like with him, you need to bring in Gabby and just like have them have like a father-daughter thing where they just go through all his old stuff. Have him go to Matterport. Like have Gabby in him wear matching suits with the patch, and she goes by Little Patch. It would be so cute.
I would very, very happily accept like a Wolverine family book because I love Laura so much. Everything they've done with Akihiro since starting the all the House of X stuff has been amazing. Because the last time I read him was during the Dark Avengers stuff.
Right.
I remember very vividly one of the first stories I read like digitally, like when I started my Comixology account, was the story where he cut Punisher into a bunch of little pieces.
Dang.
Yeah, that was, and then Punisher came back as Frankencastle, and it was the most bonkers thing I've ever seen in my life.
I'm trying to imagine that Frankencastle.
Yeah, he was literally a stitched together Frankenstein monster who's like, I'm going to punish people now, I guess, as a monster. Because I guess Marvel just didn't know what to do with him at the time. So they're like, what if we Frankenstein Frank?
Oh my God. Now I'm just seeing Peter Boyle from Young Frankenstein with a huge Punisher gun. Like
pretty much. That's pretty much it.
Fire.
Oh, that's a comic that I still feel like, even though I've seen it, I've read the first issue. I still feel like it's a fever dream. I'm like, this can't possibly be real. There's no way. This was not approved. This did not happen. It did not happen as recently as it did because it happened in like 2006. I'm like, no, absolutely not. Actually, it was later than 2006 because Dark Reign was in like, what, like 2008?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like this comic was only like
Oh,
14 years ago.
Frank. I can't see it. I can't see it. You can, I all I see is Peter Boyle. Just a.
Oh my gosh, if I can send you a picture, I absolutely will, because it's just it's special. It's so special, and I can't
Go for
believe
it. It's
no one talks about it more. It's
it's just the X-Men are so fun. Like they're
so much
like,
fun.
but I think the best book was Hellions. Like it was if X-Men was the best one, Hellions was right there because it's funny. It has some okay. You remember that one part where Sinister got kidnapped and Sage was telling his team, like, hey, Sinister got kidnapped. And they're like, what are we gonna do? Want to go get lunch?
Yeah. It's a book that came out of nowhere for me, you know? It's one of the, it's like I knew no one on the team except for Psylocke. And Psylocke Havoc, and I'm like, I don't know anyone else. I'm not sure what's here to like draw me in. But somehow it won me over with these crazy and wacky characters, which again, going back to like what's at the core of the X-Men is I love how they can do that. Where it's like you can throw the craziest concepts out there. Like you can throw out Nanny, just this woman who's in like a little eggshell, and just have me accept it and be so intrigued by her when she's on page. And that's something that not a lot of comics can do.
It's been a while since we've seen Nanny and the Orphan Maker. Like she debuted like way back before even my time. Wow, I'm really aging myself. She apparently it was during the Claremont era, and she was the main villain for Storm when she got de-aged into the body of a 10-year-old.
Really?
And, oh yeah, Claremont was off. He was crazy in the late 80s. He was doing that crazy cocaine. Just and the fact that they brought him back, and then they brought in Empath, who just oh god.
Yeah, I sent you the image. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Okay, where are we? Oh my god.
Is it everything you hoped for? Is it everything you expected?
It's like Dead Man Cable. It's Dead Man Cable. Like he has the arms, the disposition, the Summers chin. That's a Cable. Okay. I'm gonna put that in the edit. People have to see this.
Absolutely.
But a good book to me is something that can make you laugh, make you love it, but some things in it that you make like, why is that happening? Like with Psylocke, getting that whole deal with Sinister with no backup plan. It's like, hey, I'm gonna be like, at first I would just say she's so stupid. How are you gonna get into a deal with Sinister with no leverage? Like you didn't even tell the council, but because he says, hey, I can bring back your daughter. Hey,
maybe if you're
yeah,
good.
and it's like, see, and I was like, this is one of the times where the maternal instinct is not worth it. Just like you can make another one naturally. I mean, just like I thought the series was going to end with her being pregnant with Grey Crow's child. I was like, I thought, okay, that'd be a nice little wrap up for her. But no, apparently they do not. Marvel does not want to show women pregnant or anything or having children at all, because that would age them. And what's wrong with aging?
It's interesting that one of the main things about Krakoa was make more mutants, but none of the like mutant couples have actually done that yet. I thought that'd be really interesting, especially if like Rogue and Gambit decided to have a kid, like, because that's, correct me if I'm wrong, that's something that hasn't been attempted yet, has it?
No,
storytelling wise.
no, no. Like it's no. And especially after this latest issue, I'm like with Destiny and Gambit, I'm like, this would he has more incentive to start a family now, just to piss them off. Like, I mean, if you had a mother-in-law who's like, you ain't shit, like, oh, okay, oh, you hate, you
Mhm.
don't like me now? I'm gonna make you hate me. I'm gonna like, you're not gonna see your grandkids. Like, hey,
That's the ultimate trump card.
hey. Oh, and especially if TJ was there. Can you
Mhm.
can you imagine Grandma Mystique? She'd be like, oh, I love, look at your blue, oh, look at the fur. Oh, you're so beautiful. And then being told, no, you can't see her. That's my child.
Mhm.
You say you weren't my mother, Raven. So bye.
Peace out.
Yeah,
We're done.
yeah. You want to know who's our godmother? Rogue. Yeah, that's her godmother. Can you imagine Auntie Rogue?
The best, honestly.
Aunt Rogue and Uncle Gambit? Basically, that kid's doing anything they want. They're going to be
Mhm.
taught how to infiltrate a government building and steal a bunch of stuff, and without even having to be there.
It's the perfect deal. It's the perfect deal.
I get it. It's just you said you like New Mutants, Hellions. We agree we both love.
Mhm.
What was that? What else was out? Like regular X-Men's fine.
Yeah,
It's
I'm enjoying
fine.
it all right.
It's
Mhm.
fine.
I like the
Um,
team good enough. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like,
It's like I appreciate having an X-Men book with like a consistent team because the Hickman X-Men stuff, it had some really great solid issues in it. Like X-Men #7 is one of my favorite comic book issues of all time, period. But it's nice to have an X-Men book where it's like I understand what team to expect week to week again.
right. That it's oh, I like to incorporate music with the X-Men books.
Mhm.
And for some reason during Inferno, when Destiny came back, I just thought of that Nina Simone song, I'm feeling good. Like just the beginning, like the
Mhm.
steps, and then just like and you just see her and Mystique like, and I'm feeling good. Like
That fits very, very well. I actually adore that.
it's just that's just how my mind works. Uh just it's so much like the X-Men are so amazing. Like
Mhm.
with the if what X-Man do you think needs a reality check?
Um, I would say Xavier or Magneto, but I think they just got theirs with Inferno.
Dang, that's yeah, that was rough. That's
um, I frankly do not know. At this, I think everyone's had a pretty solid reality check at this point. They've been through some stuff, but I think I think Beast still needs to get slapped a little. I think
yeah,
Beast is about to get it handed to him though.
yeah. I'm surprised no one's ever like made fun of him, calling him Cookie Monster, or like, hey Grover, like just like, hey, you better watch your mouth or I'll make you into a carpet.
Oh, they have to. I need to. I have not read. I remember that period where he was on the Avengers for a while. I haven't read enough of that. I'm sure it happened at some point.
It's just,
There's no way.
I mean, like, there's so much stuff. Like at one point, he the Age of Apparel Hawkins variant, Dark Beast, came in, kidnapped Beast and took his place, and nobody noticed.
Mhm.
Nobody. Let me tell you.
It's when no one notices that the evil clone of you has taken over, then there's something wrong.
And he was like, and like, this is what Dark Beast did to him. He changed. He killed a bunch of people who knew him because, like, you know, he was doing background research. He killed
Mhm.
his first girlfriend, some friends of his. He was about to kill Beast's dad, but he's like, nah, not today. Like he was driving. He was no, sorry, that was later. He had an axe and he was chopping with his dad. And he was about to go chop his head off, and then he's like, nah. And then he went driving and he's like, you know what? I didn't kill him, but somebody's gonna die today. And he saw this kid playing with his dog. He took that axe, laid it out the window, just floored it. And the kid was like, what?
Jeez.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
Dark Beast is wild.
Yeah.
And I really think that that's the beast we got right now in X-Force. We think, or we think that Beast is so bad. Dark Beast is worse. Way worse.
It'd be really interesting if Dark Beast steps in and is like, okay, you need to calm down. I need you to chill.
Like, dude, like, you're being me right now, and I'm proud of you. It's like that whole thing you did with that Central American country. That was brilliant. I didn't even see that cut. And then, Sword. How did you feel about Sword? Everybody forgets about Sword.
Sword, speaking of forget about, I read the first couple issues, but then I wasn't able to keep up with it. So I have no real opinions on it right now. I've heard like through the grapevine different things that have happened. And I'm sure I'll get back to check it out eventually, but the first issue was really great.
Yeah, it's really good, but then it kept on being the event book. It kept
I think that's why I fell off, because like either issue like 3 or 2, they go immediately into the King in Black. I'm like, this is so unfortunate. I hate it when books start right when an event is. It's so unfortunate.
Yeah, like I was thinking, like, okay, we're getting like a Star Trek X-Men book. We're gonna see like Abigail Brand deal with mutants on different planets, and then we find out, oh, you're working with Orcus. Now I understand how Mystique feels like.
Yeah.
No, but like Abigail Brand is a great villain. It's just they keep jumping away. They keep jumping around with her. Like, what is she supposed to be, Nick Fury, or what's going on?
I don't know. She's always been an interesting character to me. The original The Last Sword series with I think it was Gillen who wrote it.
Yeah.
That was really good. I really like that. But I don't know. She's an interesting character to me. I'm not sure if I like the villain twist. But of course I haven't read it yet, so I can't comment on how it's been delivered. So
hey, like I love me a good villain. I think in this era, I think with the villains, the Marvel writers keep reverting back to like, oh, these people are traitors now. Like, no, like let's focus on these new villains. Like Orcus is amazing. That's a great new villain. Xeno is a great new villain. I wish we could see more horde culture, because I really want to see what Destiny and those ladies were like just roasting each other.
Just the old lady club.
Oh, hey, I want Golden Girls. I love Golden Girls. That's my shit. Like,
my gosh.
Just a whole book of people just talking badly to each other. That's great. I want that. I need that in my life.
Bingo on Krakoa.
Yeah. Oh man, you like. I go to the Green Lagoon. I see somebody I don't like. I'm going after. I don't care who it is. Magneto. Hey Magneto, what happened to your wife? Just like, oh, you want to talk? Like, or like, hey, everybody talks about Charles, but they don't talk about when you were banging Rogue when she was 18 years old. You old perv. Yeah, that happened under Claremont.
Oh my gosh. The old stuff drives me crazy sometimes.
He's crazy. He's nuts. He just reminds me of Tyrion Lannister from Game of Thrones. Just like he'll just make his kids cry. Like, Quicksilver, like, oh, I have a plan. It's a great plan. He goes to talk to Magneto. Magneto just destroys it, and he just leaves crying. Like, shouldn't even talk to him about it. He needs a girlfriend. He needs somebody just to calm him down. I mean, like, hey, apparently he and Charles haven't crossed that threshold yet, so he needs a strong woman. This is why Storm. Like, they don't need to be an official thing, just every once in a while. Every once in a while. Like, every once in a while. Oh boy. Who is one character that you would just like if you saw them at the Green Lagoon, you were like, okay, I'm going after that. I want a piece of that.
Like to fight or
No. You're like, I want me a piece of that.
oh
The yummy time.
you don't have enough time in this day.
Where's Tempo? Tempo, come
Where's
on.
Tempo? I could Emma Frost, yes please. Kitty Pryde, there's yes, she kissed a girl, she can kiss a girl again.
Oh, definitely.
Please.
Yeah.
I'll be Kitty Pryde's first Sapphic relationship.
That's awesome.
Yeah, just I was thinking it's like I go back to I want Danny and Karma to be a thing.
Oh, yeah, all right. I saw that in New Mutants, but at the same time I was watching Butch and Sundance, Sundance, and I thought like this is the exact same thing, but then I'm like, oh, okay. Butch and Sundance. Okay. Okay, I totally get it. I totally get it. I still think Cannonball and Danny need to get back together because all right, I don't like Izzy. I don't like Smasher. He needs to give her the Maddie Pryor treatment. Take the kid and just leave.
I like Smasher a lot.
No, she's a racist.
What?
Oh, okay. Go back to Sword. The X-Men were asked to come in to assist on a Shi'ar mission, and they were going. And we all know that the Shi'ar are colonizers, like they're with an aggressive expansion policy. And Jean was like, "Oh, wait, all this has been building up for a while now. There ain't." And she's like, "Yeah, I don't want to hear all that."
I will have to continue reading.
It's great. It's just I don't like Smasher, and I also I think that she's a spy for Orcus. It would make so much sense. Orcus, and she's sent to spy on the Shi'ar Empire, but also she needed to get in with Krakoa, so she got with Sam. This was a long time in the coming. It's been in the works. I want her to be a great villain. She works for an evil empire. Seriously, it's almost this.
I can't. I don't want it.
You can see it though. You're like,
no, Medusa. No, thank you.
Or just leave them open for Bobby, for Roberto.
There we go. The couple that truly belongs together.
I will say this. I will say, Sam and Roberto, they're best friends. They were the only two dudes on a team full of girls for the longest. They're like, we got each other. It's fun. And plus, even Roberto says that Sam could do better. He did say that. If Sunspot says it, you know it's true.
Sunspot's like, I volunteer as tribute.
Or just anything with him. I see in Secret X-Men, I know it's a couple of characters were ex-girlfriends of Cannonballs. Boom Boom and Marrow. And I'm like, and no one's gonna talk about this. No one's gonna talk about Sam's whatever. No one's talking.
Whatever. Yeah, we're fine.
Oh, so where do you think the X-Men are gonna go from here? We got their pending arrival to the MCU coming any day now. Any day now. And we got are they back to where where do you think the X-Men are going to be once they hit the MCU?
I think the next 2 years we're going to get that first mutant name drop in the MCU, and I feel like they're going to keep pushing Krakoa for a while in the comics. It's worked for them so well so far. I think they're going to milk it until it's dry, you know?
Oh yeah, just don't take them back to the school. Like, you
Yeah.
can't take them back to the school.
It's weird because they will eventually. It's you use in comics, it's a cycle. Everything goes back to how it started eventually.
No, we don't need that.
That's just it doesn't it's gonna happen. I've accepted it. I accepted it from day one of Krakoa. If Krakoa continues on forever, I would be amazed.
Or like there's a schism. There you go.
Schism 2, Electric Boogaloo.
That's actually a really good name. But I just want to know who would go with who, because they're like, I don't know, because like with like you can't break up that it's so good right now, and you can't let Sinister just go off. Let him just go off into the winds. You gotta keep him contained. I don't know. I think they're waiting for Sinister. They're waiting for his usefulness to not be useful anymore. And as soon as that happens, they're chopping off his head and burning everything down.
Which is completely fair, completely justified.
Hey, I feel like, hey, like even when they had like, hey, there's a Sinister kid, shoot him in the face. Like, shoot him twice. He almost got us. Like I with Sinister, it's a total stand your ground law. He's coming right for us. So you love the X-Men. We both love the X-Men.
Right.
Like what are some things that you would change if Jordan White was to step down and you were put in his place? How would you change that?
There's the things that have been issues for a while that I'd just like to get fixed. I want more diversity behind the page as well as on the page.
Oh yeah.
Because I think when you have these characters who are supposed to be stand-ins for diverse communities and for minority communities, the fact that they continuously get written by like the straight white people doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
It feels like we're bringing in people who don't totally understand what these characters are supposed to be to have them try their best. And sometimes it fails. Like you can have a lot of really good intentions. Like like Gary Dugan's the same person who had Emma Frost send out a telepathic message saying like to a group of sailors saying like, hey, if you're ever transphobic again, you're gonna throw up. So don't do that.
Right. Yeah.
Do you remember that from Mirage?
Yeah. With the what it was the flying. It was the house that was actually it looked like a flying saucer.
Yeah. But then it's like, I think in like the same issue, it's also the one where he had her use her boobs to distract people for some reason. So it's like, there's the hints of something good. It's like they understand what the point is supposed to be, but there's still shortcomings where it's like, I don't get why you did that, or you could have done this better. I would like to see more. I'm still waiting for a trans mutant, which is ridiculous because I've been waiting for that since Jesse Drake came back in the Pride special last July or last June, and still there's nothing. It's one of those things that's frustrating for me personally.
Right.
And that, if I could change anything, that'd probably be it. I'd like to see more diversity in the titles, and I'd like to see some more solo titles, especially for the women, because the X-women are Marvel's big female characters.
Yeah.
And you get plenty of them in the team books, which is great. I just want more of them, because there's only so much you can do in a team book. You can only have so much character development in a team book when you guys share the pages with everyone else. I want more focus on them.
Absolutely. I want to see X-Men written by a woman. That would be so cool. Like, or like, just I always thought like, like there would be no straight white men in the office. It would be it'd be women. It'd be solely inclusive. But like, sorry, white guys, you had your turn. Like, do the Avengers. Whatever. Nobody cares. No. Just like have like a person of color write X-Men. Have like I would like to see a trans woman write X Factor. That would be really
which
cool.
is one of the things that really bugs me, because there was a plot for that they had talked about doing, where it actually references like, hey, if you're trans and you die on Krakoa, do you get to be resurrected in the like the body that you would be most comfortable in next time?
Right.
And it never got addressed because the book got axed too fast. And it's one of those things where it's like, we almost had a story that would have resonated and meant a lot to a lot of people, but it just never came to be. And it's one of those frustrating things that happens time and time again.
It doesn't make any sense. Like,
Mhm.
like, and I have this conspiracy theory. The reason why they didn't do it like with a person of color, because all of a sudden it'll be about race, and like
Mhm.
that'll alienate the fan base. Like, no, it wouldn't. It really
Yeah,
wouldn't.
it's one of those things where it's like, I would like Marvel to do a lot, and I'm sure there's some people that agree, like a lot of the creatives agree, and the creatives push for a lot, but then there's the fact that Marvel is owned by bigger companies,
Disney.
bigger corporations, yeah, with their own ideas about what's appropriate and what's not, which is
Hey,
something they're constantly fighting.
I still think Disney are just saying. Walt Disney
Mhm.
was a Nazi. Like he didn't like anybody.
Mhm.
This, hey, just say.
Oh yeah, no, there's no denying Walt Disney has a dicey history, and I'm not going to defend the corporation at any times
No,
in
no,
any
no,
time
burn
soon.
it. Like
Um,
Disney, yeah, probably. He killed children, probably.
it's I also think, since you mentioned, it's important to note that Nyla Rose is going to be writing that upcoming giant-sized Thunderbird issue, co-writing with Steve Orlando.
I love Nyla, the wrestler.
Yep.
I love
So
Nyla Rose. Okay,
we
all
actually do have a trans woman who's going to be writing an X-Men book coming up. So that one's a very important one to support, I think.
right. Okay, why? All right, now I'm gonna have to buy two because Nyla Rose is my wrestling crush. I love
Really,
Nyla Rose. I'm
she's
like, Nyla Rose is bad.
oh,
Like, it's like, oh, she's trans, so she's still a woman.
exactly.
That doesn't
She's
matter.
if there's a reason to get into wrestling, I would get into it just to see Nyla Rose.
Oh, Nyla is just, she's amazing. Just
Mhm.
like, mwah. Like, she had put up a photo of her in a red dress for Valentine's Day, and she's like, "Oh, your favorite color is red," and I just put, "You're gonna break up my marriage," and she liked it. I'm like, see,
Oh,
like, hey, go for the laughs. Like, if you can't all of them, go for the laughs.
go for the laughs.
It's just, she's great. Like, that's a future world champion to me.
Mhm.
I like, but and thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, no,
Wow, it's
it's
actually 4:20. This is nice.
perfect timing. Yeah, thanks for
Well,
having me on. This was a lot of fun.
yeah, like I'm gonna try and do something for Immortal X-Men when it comes out. So like,
Mhm.
doors always up. We're gonna let's talk about, because Immortal X-Men is gonna be so good. It's gonna
Yeah, I
be
would.
House of Cards, and they're gonna be in the council room at all times.
I would love to come back and talk the Emma Frost book, which is
Oh,
that's just what I'm. It's like,
oh,
this is why I'm here.
which
So,
Emma Frost book though? Like the one that happened back in 2003. It talked about her upbringing.
oh, I was talking about Immortal X-Men, because I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, that too,
yeah,
that too.
the 2003 one with the covers that I would not be caught dead with.
Oh
There's
man,
the
that that whole teacher thing. Yeah, hey, she was young, okay? She was young, needed the money. No, that's not
I
even completely true. Just fun to say.
gosh.
All
Oh,
right,
but
and
yeah, thank you so much.
you are so lovely for doing this.
Thank you.
Like, us, and your Twitter handle.
Oh yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Ann Comics.
Okay, this is 1407 Gray Monkey Lane signing out. Get